That's all that they know.
And you thought that you'd be safe in your tower.
Yeah, not anymore.
Insulated from the people below. But the truth has undermined your foundation by so many people now in the know. You thought that you'd see the day that you could just get away from the ones you betrayed, who raised their voices to say you won't be trusted anymore.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great big beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yahweh's creation. It's Wednesday, hump day, don't be a chump day, I don't want to see you crump day. It's the 22nd of October, 2025, and I'm talking fast because there's a lot of stuff to cover today. And as always, we are broadcasting live on the Red State Talk Radio Network, and we are broadcasting live from 2:05 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's 11 a.m. Pacific Time. Do the math for the time zones in between. If you're listening during those times, you are listening live. And that means you can call in, and I encourage you to do so. I want to hear your feedback on some of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. The phone number here is 215-867-8255. I'm going to forego any promotions right now. Yeah, well, you can take a look at our website and check out our sponsors, Wave Watch, Get More Tank, Blackout Coffee, the merch that we've got there. We could use your support, so just do it. Just help us out, okay? All right. Off the bat, okay, everybody's talking about this government shutdown. I covered it yesterday, and there are a lot of people posting. There's a flood of people posting on social media saying that their EBT has been cut off, their food stamps have been cut off, and, we're coming up on November, and as of November 1st, these people, they're just going to be flapping in the breeze, and they're pissed off. I don't blame them for being pissed off. I mean, this is all the only life that they know. Many of these people have been on public assistance all their lives. They don't know how to go out and get a job. They don't have any skills, okay? They're screwed. And why is this happening? Because of the government shutdown. Unfortunately, they're blaming the wrong people. They're saying, oh, it's the Republicans because they control the Senate, the Congress, and the president. Okay, it's the Republicans. No, it's not No, the Republicans, the conservatives, want to go ahead and pass it the way it is. But it's the liberals, the Democrats, the Chuck Schumers, who they were cut off at the knees when they cut off all the funding for USAID and all the money that was funneling through Act Blue. This money was being money laundered through NGOs that were set up by these Democrats, and they were getting millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and they got cut off. And that's why they want 1.5 trillion, with a T, trillion, to be added into the budget here so they can continue padding their pockets. And that's why we have this government shutdown. So the government shutdown, of course, it's going to hit all of these, the inner city folks, all the folks that have been on the welfare and, basically on the government's teat all this time. And some of them are actually saying, hey, look it's up to you taxpayers to pay us. They actually believe this. It's your responsibility to pay my food bill. And like I said, they just don't know any better. They've been dumbed down by the public indoctrination system. Like I said, they don't have skills. They don't have any cognitive skills. They don't have any, critical thinking skills. They're flapping in the breeze. So what happens when you take people's food away? Yeah, some of them are saying, hey, I don't care what's going to happen. I'm going to go into the Walmart, fill up my shopping cart, and I'm just going to walk out. Don't you even dare try to stop me. It'll be the last thing you ever do. And some of them are saying, hey, I'm not even going to go into the grocery store. I'm just going to wait in the parking lot. And when somebody comes out with a big thing full of groceries, I'm just going to take it from them. This is what we've got coming, okay? So I don't know what the solution is, but, there's that old saying, ordo ab chaos, order out of chaos. Create the chaos, and people will scream for some kind of order. Maybe that's what's coming. Anyway, I just wanted to alert you to that. Do whatever you need to do. Keep your head on a swivel and make sure you have some way of protecting yourself, because things could very well get pretty scary out there, especially with the holidays coming up. All right, 20-odd years ago, I produced a documentary called 9/11 in Plain Sight. Many of you may have seen it. If not, you can go to my website, davevonKleist.com, and click on the 9/11 button, and it'll take you to a couple of links where you can watch both of the documentaries I produced on the 9/11 attack. And in the first documentary, I gave an explanation, a definition, if you will, of the term conspiracy theory, and I'm going to share it with you now for those of you not aware. Okay, so what I did is I played word association. Okay, I say a word, you think of the first word comes to mind, right? Here's the word, conspiracy theory. Okay, that's what most people come up with. Those two words have definitions. The first word, conspiracy, defined, means when you have two or more people who plan something in secret. All right, that's the definition of a conspiracy. Theory, the definition of a theory is a supposition, a concept, an idea, okay? As an example, if you purchase a raffle ticket, you can win a prize. Now, as long as you don't purchase a raffle ticket, then the win is theoretical. However, once you purchase one raffle ticket, it goes into the realm of a possibility. Maybe a pretty remote possibility, but it's a possibility nonetheless. And the more raffle tickets that you purchase, the more possible and eventually probable the win would be. I mean, if there's 100 raffle tickets and you buy 99 of them, it's pretty doggone sure thing that you're going to win that raffle. Same thing is with a conspiracy theory. When there is no evidence whatsoever to support the idea of a conspiracy, then it is a theory. However, once you have a piece of evidence, just one, even if it's circumstantial, it is no longer a theory. It becomes a possibility. Maybe a remote possibility, but a possibility nonetheless. And such is the case when you take a look at some of these different issues, these world events. When you have no evidence, it's a theory. But once you have some evidence, it becomes a possibility. And the more evidence you got, the more possible and probable it becomes. Well, if we apply that to what's going on with the investigation or the non-investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination, well, there are a lot of people out there that feel that there is something very, very wrong about what's going on with this. And, of course, they're all being attacked. You know, Candace Owens, Ryan Matta, Eric Warsaw, Ian Carroll, Dave Smith. I mean, there's a whole lot of people out there that are saying, wait a minute, this whole thing stinks to high heaven. There's no way it could be going down, or it could have gone down the way the official narrative is explaining to us. And and you know what's really funny is all the people who are attacking and dissing, you know, and insulting all the people who are doing research. These are the same people. If you ask them, hey, do you believe the official narrative, the Warren Commission about the John F. Kennedy assassination? And they say no. Do you believe the official narrative, the official story about what happened on September 11th? No. Do you believe that the COVID was a result of a bat at a wet market? And they go, no. So they're aware of how the government will lie to you. But when it comes to the Charlie Kirk assassination, we have to follow goose step along with the official narrative. Why is that? I don't get it. But anyway, I wanted to throw that out there because with all these attacks that Candace Owen is taking, and that Ian Carroll is taking, and that Ryan Matta is taking, I'm really shocked because there are some media influencers that are out there that up to a certain point, I was right behind them 100%. Man, okay, all for the past several years, they've been putting out some good information and good opinions, and I was on board with most of them. However, now they're going after anybody who challenges the official narrative of the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I'm saying, wait a second, what happened to Cat Turd? Hey, Cat Turd, you used to be spot on. And now you're jumping on board with attacking the people who are doing research? Oh, wait a second. Something stinks. And there are a lot of these social media influencers out there. It's the same story. They're going after the people who are investigating. Now, why is that? Now, maybe, just maybe, they've been compromised. Maybe their principles are, on the line here. Matter of fact, let me see. I have where did I put it here? Let me see. Where is it? Bibi. Where's Bibi? Bibi Netanyahu. Where is it? Bibi. I had a clip here. What did I do with it? Oh, never. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, I somehow clicked on the wrong folder. Okay, here it is. Now, we all know that we heard that Bibi Netanyahu wants to basically take over TikTok. Okay, and he said he wanted to talk to Elon Musk, and it's funny because now X has got a lot of pro-Israel comments, and a lot of the anti-Israel comments are being deep-sixed. And of course, Bibi's saying, no, you've got the right of free speech. Listen, here's a little thing that Bibi was saying. I forget I think he was talking to one of the guys from TPUSA. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, here's what Bibi Netanyahu said. Listen up.
You're regulated? By what? You should have the freedom to say whatever you want, to talk whatever you want. I didn't realize there's regulation on podcasts.
Oh, really?
Our policies are...
Okay, I'm going to stop. Yeah, I didn't realize there were regulations on podcasts. Okay, well, then we switch now to Jordana Cutler, and she is from the Jewish Diaspora. Okay, and here's what she had to say.
Podcasts?
Our policies are industry-leading in protecting Jewish people and Israelis on our platforms. We banned content with harmful stereotypes about Jews, such as the claim that Jews run the world or other major institutions. We banned content claiming Zionists run the world or control the media.
Yeah, so I guess they are controlling stuff. Isn't that interesting? This is what we're up against, folks. Yeah, this is George Orwell's 1984 playing out right before your very eyes. And again, all these people who are playing along with this subterfuge, with this gaslighting, with this manipulating, with the propaganda, with the lies, this is, all of these people who are attacking the researchers, they're exposing themselves. Now we're starting to see who the good guys and the bad guys are. I'm sorry, there's a real problem. There are people who want to ask questions, and there are people who don't want these questions asked because they don't want the answers out there. And I experienced the same thing 20-odd years ago when I was on the front lines of the 9/11 truth movement. And, I was on the front lines. I was, right there, traveling all over the country, speaking engagements, radio interviews, the whole 9 yards. And it's like history's repeating itself. Those who are doing the research are going to take the hits. But then again, as they say, if you're not catching flack, you're not over the target. So where is this taking us? Okay? Why is it that we have so much corruption right in our faces? And again, this is affecting both the liberals and the conservatives. And the conservatives out there, please don't think that you're immune to this, because you're being fed horse hockey just as much as the liberals are. The liberals gravitate towards ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC. Yeah, you've got your liberal networks that are out there. And the conservatives have their networks too, to a certain extent. Fox, yeah, right, faux news. But then when you got Newsmax, and you got OAN, and you got Real America's Voice, and you got News Nation, all these networks that have popped up in the past decade, and the conservatives seem to think that they're getting the real truth from those networks. No, you're being sold just as much garbage as the liberal networks are. And I mean, this whole thing is being exposed. As a matter of fact, you want to hear something? Here's Pete Hegseth. Okay, for you conservatives out there, Pete Hegseth, he's great. He's the bee's knees. Are we so glad to have Pete Hegseth in there? Is he serving America, or is he serving another party? This is Pete Hegseth. Listen.
Anyone that wants to take the stage and talk about dual loyalty is dead wrong. What this organization represents, what Western civilization represents today, is in understanding that Zionism and Americanism are the front lines of Western civilization and freedom in our world today.
What? What? Are you serious? Zionism is on the front. What? Are you getting it yet, folks? Are you getting it? Are we still waiting to? Are we still trusting the plan? Are we still waiting for the white hats to come rescue us? I don't know. You know, maybe the white hats are waiting for the American people, both on the left and on the right. Maybe they're waiting for the American people to finally, once and for all, get it. To finally understand that if this is going to be a government of, by, and for the people, then the people are going to have to get off their big fat butts and get involved. Roll up your sleeves, take an interest, take a stand, and do some work to save your country. That's what it comes down to. I don't know, I'm on a bit of a rant today, so we got a phone caller coming in here, so let's go to the phones. Hello, caller, who do we have, and where are you calling from, and why are you calling me here?
Why am I calling you, Dave?
Yeah, why? I want to know why.
Well, I'm calling because you were complaining about the people who have ended up on food stamps. And
well, I'm not complaining about it. I'm just saying, they've become accustomed to that lifestyle. And I mean, some of them have been on assistance their entire lives, and they don't know any other lifestyle.
Right. And I'm hanging around in San Francisco because I was made unwelcome in Texas, although I'm a Texan. And I learned some things about San Francisco, where they used to have a thriving black community, and it was taken down with urban renewal. They bought people's homes, depriving them of their property under eminent domain, and put up housing projects.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the CIA brought crack cocaine into the black community.
Yep.
And this is all part of a plan of bringing down America.
Mm-hmm.
The fluoride in water.
Yep.
The chemicals in the food, the chemtrails overhead.
Mm-hmm.
They are dumbing people down to chemicals. They're making them sick. They're making them have poor judgment. I may, if I haven't yet passed on to you the information, that there may be a toxic exposure that's causing pedophilia in men, because the children who grow up to become pedophiles seem to have certain anomalies in their physical appearance that are considered minor physical anomalies. So they're not life-threatening, but they're markers for toxic exposures early in the fetal stage, in the first and second trimesters. So, well,
that's something I was screaming about 30 years ago, and if you're a regular listener, you know that I was screaming about atrazine, bisphenol A, prions. I was screaming about this crap 30 years ago, and I was asking the questions, what's going to happen if we don't get this crap out of our food and our environment? And here we are 30 years down the road, and we have all this gender dysphoria, all this perversion, and as you're putting out, the possibility that there is a genetic disposition towards pedophilia. So
no, I didn't say genetic.
Well,
no, they've checked. They don't see anything in the DNA that could be causing this.
Well, chemically induced.
I'm saying it appears to be chemically induced.
Right.
And those millionaires, if they want to save their souls, need to start helping to research this. Don't depend on government funding, because government funding tends to be skewed to protect the corporations.
Yeah, absolutely. The funding basically is designed to support whoever is doing the funding,
So, in addition to learning about the original Constitution and not the altered ones, we need people who have resources still to step up to the plate and start helping people to get smart again.
Mm-hmm.
You know that I've told y'all I had brain damage in my 40s. And I discovered that my physicians, who were considered some of the best in the community, really weren't much help much of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to turn to the alternative health movements to find answers. And there are answers there. There are people brave enough to speak out. So I want people to come up with solutions. Simply by increasing the vitamin C of a person, the French discovered you could increase IQ 3 points. There's a very low dose lithium can increase IQ.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the mega doses that are used medicinally. I'm talking about very small amounts used regularly. So there's carbon 60 that helps to take heavy metals out of your body.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I will buy one for somebody that I know needs it. And then once they've taken a bottle, they're convinced they need it after they feel how different they feel. And, that's why I keep harping at you about the methylene blue, because if it is as good as they're saying and as cheap as it can be, it's a very old synthetic compound used medicinally for a long time. And then they suddenly didn't teach it to us. I didn't learn about methylene blue in the 1970s when I was in medical school. I didn't learn about a lot of useful information. In fact, I'm going to say that if we had alternative health people out front in front of the medical school and the hospitals we went to picketing or leafleting on some of these ideas, I might have looked at them as kooks, but I'd remember later that they were right and that my professors were wrong. For example, my professors taught us that we didn't know the cause of fatty liver disease, which is a precursor to cirrhosis of the liver.
Mm-hmm.
It's a marker of illness, in a very important organ, the liver. Well, I found that was in the 1970s. I was taught we didn't know. And in 2003, I pulled up a brand new textbook of gastroenterology, and it still said we didn't know. But I eventually found a 1959 Encyclopedia Britannica that said it was caused by insufficient lecithin in the diet. And then I discovered that all these decades, when they wanted an animal model that had fatty liver disease, they simply deprived the animal of lecithin. So the researchers went all along, but the researchers weren't the people teaching me.
Mm-hmm.
It was faculty. And I don't know to this day if that faculty member was stupid, ignorant, or dishonest.
Maybe they were just paid off.
I beg your pardon?
Maybe they were just, shall we say, financially influenced.
That's called dishonesty.
Yes, it is.
200 medical students that we don't know the etiology of a disease when they knew it a decade before, 2 decades before. There's a problem. There's a real problem with education. People need to take most of the medical schools are either, they're private or they're state-owned. The state-owned, you have a lot of influence over. And y'all should tackle that issue by attending the board meetings and start looking at who the doctors are they're going after, because I know that in Texas, where I'm from, they went after the best and the brightest who would stick their necks out and tell the truth.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just came out with this documentary that basically did a comparison of the vaccinated children versus the unvaccinated children, and the guy that did the study, when he found out that it was overwhelming that the unvaccinated children were so much healthier, he had his license pulled. So anyway, what's his name? Del Bigtree just put that documentary out. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen some of the clips, and I would highly recommend, I'm recommending myself to get off my butt and watch it. But anyway, listen, I'm going to keep moving on here. I got some more stuff I want to get to.
All right. Thank you.
Cynthia, thank you so much for your contribution, as always. Okay,
right.
You take care. Okay, yesterday, I revisited a story that I covered a couple months ago, and that was RFK Jr. was at a dinner, and he made the following statement. And if you listen carefully, I know there's a lot of background noise. I played this yesterday, but I'm going to play it again because there's a follow-up on this. Now, he was saying basically that the COVID-19 vaccine basically was designed to attack Caucasians and black people and yet leave the Chinese and the Ashkenazi Jews immune. All right, let's listen to it. Here it is.
COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Okay, now that you just heard that. That's what he said several months ago, and I played it right after that happened. However, in congressional testimony, which happened, I'm not quite sure when this was, but it was very recently, the subject came up, and here's what went down.
Yes or no, Mr. Kennedy? Did you say that COVID-19 was a genetically engineered bioweapon that targets black and white people, but spared Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people?
I didn't say it was deliberately targeted. I just quoted an NIH-funded and NIH published study.
Did you say that it targets black and white people but spared Ashkenazi Jews?
I quoted a study, Your Honor. I quoted an NIH study that showed that
I'll take that as
certain
yes.
races
I have to move on.
Okay. Yeah, this guy's trying to screw him to the wall. He said, okay, but Kennedy was quoting an NIH study. All right? Simple as that. I just wanted to throw that back out there because the people who are behind the big pharma, they do not have your best interest in mind. As a matter of fact, Naomi Wolf, God bless her soul, she put out the following: yes, this is it is a plan for genocide. And I've been talking about this for the longest time. Yes, the globalist plan is to reduce the population by over 90%. They want like 7 billion people to be dead. That's their plan. And this works right into their plan. Listen to what Naomi Wolf said. She came back, basically got all her information directly from the Pfizer documents that they wanted to bury for 75 years, but they had to release it. Here's Naomi Wolf.
The centerpiece of the Pfizer papers is an intentional attack on human sexuality, and especially on women and babies. They killed the babies and they knew it. They poisoned the breast milk and they knew it. They damaged the placentas and they knew it. They lowered the sperm count and they knew it. They have a chart of the babies they're injuring. They have a chart of the women's menstrual cycles that they're disrupting. They concluded that babies were dying in utero due to maternal exposure to the vaccine. And this is the document that went to Dr. Walensky, and then she gave a press conference saying, you've got to, get a vaccine, a COVID vaccine, before, during, or after your pregnancy. So this is satanic, right? This is satanic on a massive level. And you look at Borla and you look at, the fact that they knew they were doing this, which if you read the Pfizer papers, you cannot conclude otherwise. And this 13 to 20% drop in live births. So I guess what I'm trying to say is they tried to kill us. They tried to wipe us out. They tried to sterilize us. A lot of people died. There's going to be horrible struggles with fertility, but we survived and the truth came out.
Mm-hmm. And the truth continues to come out. And you just heard her. She said, this is evil. This is satanic. Now, I don't know. That's a good way to describe it. I don't know how else you could describe it. Yes, we are in a spiritual battle here between good and evil, between light and darkness, between God and Satan, if you want. And this is why more and more people are starting to understand why Revelation 2:9 says the following. And again, this is the words of Jesus. He says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Ooh, you got money. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Now, the key here is, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, which leads me to the following clip here. Let's see where it is. I just had it here. Where did it go? Oh, yeah, here it is. This is from the New York Times, October 29th of 1996. Here's a guy that is quoting from that particular publication. Listen to this.
Are European Jews really Gentiles whose ancestors converted to Judaism? The facts are clear now. that most of those who call themselves Jews are not descendants of Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel, and therefore have no claim to the land of Palestine. The October 29, 1996 New York Times, in an article entitled "Scholars Debate Origins of Yiddish and the Migrations of Jews," states, the Eastern European Jews were not really Semitic, that they were largely descended from the Turkish Khazars, who converted to Judaism in medieval times. Therefore, modern Jews have no blood link to the biblical Israelites. Jewish historians have established that at least 90% of all Jews come from a Turkish mix of people and are largely sourced from the Khazar kingdom.
The goal of creating a homeland for Jews seemed like a noble pursuit in 1897, when the Zionist movement became officially established. However, their dream of returning to Palestine has become a nightmare of violence, and there is no end in sight. Worse yet, the concept that Palestine is their homeland has turned out to be a tragic mistake. These white-skinned Ashkenazi Jews are not descendants of the original Jews of Palestine.
That's correct. They are not. And that is proven. Again, I am referring to the Johns Hopkins University study, and this was published in the Jerusalem Post 2024, May 18th in 2024. They did a genetic study, an ancestry study on the Israelis, and you just heard it. The guy said over 90% of those in Israel are not indigenous. They're not the real Jews. And it's backed up by the ancestry study. Johns Hopkins found that 97.5% of Judaics who are living in Israel have absolutely no ancient Hebrew DNA. Therefore, they are not Semites. They did the same study on the Palestinians and found that 80% of the Palestinians carry ancient Hebrew DNA, and thus they are the real Semites. So this whole thing is backed up by science and history. So I guess Jesus was right in Revelation 2:9 and in 3:9. But they also said that they were the synagogue of Satan. Now them's pretty strong words, wouldn't you say? We got some evil folks out there. And which brings me full circle to what's happened with Charlie Kirk. Now, in the past couple of days, as I was saying earlier in this broadcast, there are people out there that are doing the yeoman's work. They're doing the real research to find out what the heck happened to Charlie Kirk and who the real perpetrators are. Now, unfortunately, Kash Patel, and I played the clip yesterday, his concern is to protect the prosecution. They have their man that they want to prosecute. They want to prosecute Tyler Robinson. That's all there is to it. Anything else, they have to censor. As a matter of fact, they put a gag order on all of the witnesses who were there in Utah. Yeah. Well, how many kids? 3,000 kids there? Every single one of them has a gag order. You're not allowed to talk about it. That's just the way, that's justice in this country. And they don't want any social media influencers out there talking about it either, because they're more concerned with getting this over with, turn the page, let's move on, nothing to see here, keep going. And I think we all know that there's a lot more going on. Now, in the past couple of days, I'm just going to read you a few headlines because there's 3 different posts that I'm saving right now. This first one comes from, let me see, what is this? This is, let me see, where is this here? Let me see here. Let me back up here. This is the I can't even say it, xmnominee247.com. Anyway, headline, digital bombshell. Candace Owens just revealed something huge is coming. Hard to believe. What she said about Charlie Kirk's sudden disappearances has left millions stunned. Insiders claim she's protecting files that could end powerful careers. Those files are real, and they don't just involve me. And that's so Candace Owens, she was referring to all the stuff that's coming out about Erica Kirk. Yeah, Erica's got a shady past. Let me see, here's another one here. This is from Your Logo. The official story of Charlie Kirk's death is crumbling, and what's emerging is a tale so shocking, it threatens to redefine trust itself. And this was posted October 20th, the day before yesterday. Let me see. In the swirling currents of public disclosure, where facts often compete with speculation, the narrative surrounding the ultimate death of Charlie Kirk, the charismatic founder of Turning Point USA, has taken a profoundly unsettling turn. So there's a lot of stuff now that's coming out, and again, people are taking a look at Erica Kirk, what her background is. Now let me see this one. Let me see, which article was this? Where is it? There it is. Okay. Let me see. Chappelle said it all. Yeah, Dave Chappelle, believe it or not. While the world grieved, she was allegedly collecting leaked documents. Let's start over. While the world grieved, she was allegedly collecting. Leaked documents show a $350,000 wire transfer made to Erica Kirk just 2 weeks before her husband's death. The sender? A shell company that dissolved just 4 days later. And plus, they've got side-by-side photographs of Erica Kirk. One was taken about 15 years ago, and the other one is recently. And I got to tell you, they don't look the same. Very similar. But there's something else going on here. And again, you're not supposed to look at that. Let's just turn the page and move on. Well, you know what? TPV Sean had a whistleblower on. I'm going to share with you what he had to say. This is some pretty interesting stuff. This is about, it's about 3 or 4 minutes, so I'm going to let this play. And again, if you haven't subscribed to TPV, The People's Voice, they do some incredible investigative journalism, so you definitely want to check out TPV Sean. Anyway, here's just a little bit of an introduction as to what's coming.
Look, I shouldn't even be talking to you right now. Judge Graff slapped me with a gag order, same as everyone else who knows too much. Thing is, I wasn't even there that day. I didn't see the shooting, but because I was close to Charlie, because I was a donor, they decided I might know too much. So now, I'm legally not allowed to say a word. But you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say what I can, because this is too important to bury. People deserve to know. Remember after 9/11, how we said, never forget? Well, 24 years later, we forgot. And here we are again. Same playbook. The government using blood and terror to steer public opinion. What they call kinetic politics. There are folks, eyewitnesses, who saw it happen up close. They'll tell you, straight up, the shot didn't come from the roof. There's no way in hell it was a 30-06. But they can't talk. They've been threatened. Some with prison, some with worse. And the footage? It's vanishing as we speak. Phones seized, posts deleted, entire accounts wiped overnight. It's coordinated. That whole TikTok takeover thing everyone joked about? Not a coincidence. It's how they control what the younger crowd sees. They're feeding them a clean, filtered version of the truth. Straight up propaganda. In a generation, they'll all be brainwashed. A few weeks before he was killed, Charlie told me, he said, they told me I wouldn't make it to Christmas if I didn't back off. He was digging into some dark stuff. Israel, elite pedophilia networks, the funding lines nobody's supposed to touch. There was this so-called intervention in the Hamptons. Bill Ackman was there. He basically told him, take the money, fall in line, or you're done. You know what's crazy? After that Hamptons meeting, Charlie told me he started finding weird stuff with his devices. His phone would heat up for no reason, battery draining in minutes, random feedback on calls. He joked about it at first, said, guess I made new friends in Tel Aviv. But then, he got quiet. Told me he found a second SIM card in one of his backup phones. Something he swore he never put there. That's when it hit him. The whole trip had been a setup. Every word, every text, every whisper, bugged. He said, they don't need to threaten you if they already own your silence. Now he's gone. They're scrubbing everything, deleting files, wiping drives, bleach-bitting the whole damn crime scene. And if they can erase him, someone that high profile, that connected, what do you think they can do to the rest of us? This isn't just a cover-up. It's the countdown to something much bigger.
Yes, it is. It is a countdown to something much bigger because the American people are waking up. They are figuring it out. And thanks to listeners like you, listening to programs like this, and social media influencers like Ryan Mata or Ian Carroll or Candace Owens or whoever, who refuse to just follow along with the official narrative. We're thinking outside of the cage. And that's the only way we're going to get the truth about this issue and about all the other issues that are challenging us right now. And I wanted to share that with you because this whole thing with the Charlie Kirk assassination, I think this is going to be, shall we say, this is going to be the bottom card. Once you pull that bottom card out of the stack of cards, they all come down. And more people now are starting to realize what Israel really is. Now, for those of you who are still confused about it, Israel is a people. It is not a nation. It is not a country. It never was. It's never supposed to be. When you say there's a nation, that means a group of people, a large group of people, sort of like Red Sox Nation. Okay, a bunch of Red Sox fans, they're all linked together. They all love their Boston Red Sox, and that's what forms the Red Sox Nation. Such is the case with those who keep their contract with God Almighty. God told Jacob that his name is now Israel, and Jacob had 12 sons, hence the 12 tribes of Israel. And all the people who keep God's covenant and keep the contract, they are the nation of Israel. It's got nothing to do with a country with borders and boundaries and rules and dogma. It's a people. So as long as you're in line with God Almighty, then you're part of the nation of Israel. Simple as that. Now, there are those who will condemn me for saying so, and I should have pulled up, there was an audio clip of John Hagee, and again, I don't know what the heck happened to him. I remember seeing him back in the 90s when I first discovered John Hagee, and he was screaming about the New World Order and the globalists and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds. I said, dude, hey, this guy's spitting out some truth out there. But now, no, he's not spitting out the truth. He's spitting out Zionism. I don't want the Zionism garbage. I don't want the subterfuge. I don't want the propaganda. What do I want?
All I want is the truth. Just give me some truth.
Yeah, that's just give me some truth. Because otherwise, you're just giving me horse hockey. Anyway, let me see. Okay, I've ran through all my audio clips for today. If you want to call in, I'd like to know what your feelings are. 215-867-8255. Again, 215-867-8255. I'm going to put on a spot here and see if somebody calls in. I'll be right back.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by visiting our website, TheWTFReports.com. Click on the sponsors page. It'll take you down to some windows, and one of them says Get More Tank. And when you click on that, it'll take you to a website that'll tell you all about the specifications and details and how and why this stuff works. It's not a fuel additive. It's a fuel catalyst. Makes your fuel burn at a lower temperature, cleans out your engine, gives you more power, And over a period of time, you're going to see an increase in your mileage, anywhere between 15 and 20%, depending upon your make, model, and year of vehicle and your driving habits. So check it out, folks. Get More Tank actually works. I wouldn't be you having them as a sponsor if I didn't believe in it. I mean, there are a lot of broadcasters out there. They'll hawk anything. As long as they can make a few bucks, that's fine with them. Okay, but I'm not in it just for the money. Yeah, we all need bucks to pay the bills, but I'm not going to hawk a product just because I'm going to make money. I'm going to put it out there because it's a good product, it works, and you can benefit from it. And hey, look, guys, I'm not stupid, I'm not crazy, and I don't lie. This stuff works. So check out Get More Tank. You'll be glad that you did. And while you're at the sponsors page, check out the Wave Watch as well. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing mine right now. Can you hear that? Hear that? Yeah, that's the Wave Watch. I can't hear it unless I put it up to the microphone, but I'm running a program right now to see if it can improve my hearing, because I'm getting old a little bit. I've been a musician all my life, and I have a little bit of hearing loss. And I don't know if you've ever been in a crowded room and a lot of conversations. Sometimes you have a hard time picking out what somebody's saying. Well, I'm starting to experience that, so I've started running this program, and I'll keep you abreast of the situation, see how this works. Well, of course, it doesn't happen overnight. No, it's not that much of a miracle. But I did see an improvement in my eyesight when I ran the eye program. So anyway, yeah, check out the Wave Watch. Visit our website, TheWTFReports.com, and click on the sponsors page. As a matter of fact, there's a pop-up that'll come up there and take you down to some information about the Wave Watch. So check it out. Check it out. Okay, so the question is at this point, what's it going to take to get this country to an 80% tipping point? Now, that's an estimation. That's approximately what we need to turn this country around. Once you get 80% of the American people to realize that the two parties, the Republicrats and the Demopublicans, as they say, two wings of the same bird. They are all being, controlled by forces other than the people. But when the people finally stand up, the game board's going to topple down. So this is why we've got to get everybody involved. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to be doing a program in the near future about what's going on across the country in the reformation of the jural assemblies. Now, if this is supposed to be a government of, by, and for the people, it only makes sense that every state should have its own jural assemblies. Now, every state has its own constitution, its borders, the state governor, state police, like I said, state borders, state senate, state, Congress, state police. Every state is a nation unto itself, and every state has counties. And every county should have its own jural assembly. Now, this has been reaffirmed by the Supreme Court, and basically the military is waiting for us, for we the people, to get back involved in governing ourselves. It's real simple. If this is government of, by, and for the people, then the people have to learn how to self-govern, and it takes a little bit of effort. But once you establish it, once you have that mindset that we have the power, like John Lennon said, power to the people. Well, the power isn't going to be in the hands of the people unless they assert the power. So that's where we're at right now. And I can't help but think that, these white hats, if they are there, and I do believe they are, because back in 96, I was in a white hat meeting. I didn't know it at the time. Not until they basically said that we are the white hats, but I didn't know what that really meant back then. It wasn't until after Trump was elected in his first term, and all those Q posts started coming out, and they started talking about the white hats. And after a couple of months of hearing this white hat stuff, and blah, 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 whoa, wait a minute, white hats? White hats? I remember white hats back in 96. So I do believe that there are white hats out there. There are good guys within the military that want us to return to our organic constitution, not the de facto constitution that we've got in place right now, not the corporate constitution, because that's what it is. In 1871, the United States incorporated, and we abandoned the original organic constitution. And you can see it because the original constitution said the Constitution for the United States of America. But once they changed it, it became the Constitution of the United States of America. You change one little thing, it changes everything. That's why they say you dot your I's, you cross your T's. And the other thing that they changed is the term United States. Originally, United was with a lowercase u, the United States with a capital S, states. In other words, the states were more important. But then they changed it, and it became the United States with a capital U. Changed everything. That's when we came underneath the corporate de facto government. We can get it back. We can get it back. But it's up to us to roll up our sleeves and do it. So, I will be doing a program maybe sometime next week. I'll bring someone on who's an expert on the subject of the reformation of the General Assemblies, because every state should be doing this. And I'm in the state of Montana, and there are, 56 counties, I believe, in this state. And, I think that's right, 56 counties. And I think the way it works is that you have to have 2/3 of the counties to get settled and establish their General Assembly. And once that happens, then you basically are in control of the entire state. And from what I understand and the people that I've spoken to, the military is waiting for the people to do this. They want this because the military take an oath to the Constitution. And the problem here is exactly what we've got right now. Okay, National Guard troops are going into cities across the country, and people who don't understand what the Constitution says, they're upset about it. But they don't realize that this is constitutional. Now, if people understood the Constitution, and they understood states' rights versus federal rights, and if they understood the laws, they would understand that what Trump is doing in sending the National Guard into these states is perfectly legal. Because of the fact that the state representatives, the mayors and stuff, they are not protecting the citizens and the property. And when that happens, that's what gives the federal government the authority to send in federal troops. Anyway, there's a lot to learn about there, folks. But again, this is up to us. It really is. And if we don't get it into our heads that we have to get involved. And once we do get involved, hey, we'll have the military behind us. They're waiting for us. But as long as we busy our minds with all the distractions, the stuff that's going on TV, on Netflix, and pro sports, and football, and hockey, and baseball, and basketball. Yeah, the basketball season started. As long as we allow ourselves to be distracted, we are never going to get our country back. We have to start paying attention. It's real simple, folks. It's up to us. Okay, let's see. What else we got going here? Let me see. Oh, yeah, people are really getting a little bit nervous about the end of this month, the beginning of November. There's a lot of folks, I talked about it yesterday, with Operation Blue Beam. Yeah, that's what Werner von Braun was talking about, is that, the last card to be played would be to feign or fake an alien invasion. And so what they're doing right now, it looks like, I could be wrong, but they could be setting the table to set up a fake alien invasion in the next month or two. We'll have to see how that works out. Anyway, that said, I'm going to wrap up this Wednesday edition of the WTF Reports. If you're listening on Rumble or BitChute or YouTube or Facebook, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and above all else, spread the word. Word of mouth is the best way to help build a following. So I appreciate your doing that. That said, it's going to wrap it up for today's edition. I'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. So as always, God bless you all. Stay safe, stay free, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Watch the roaches take flight as you turn on the light. You won't be trusted anymore.